Hello and welcome to episode 8 of SAAB Fever. My name is Frank, and in today's episode we'll be taking you through the installation instructions for GlobalTIS. This is a little tricky. After installing it, you need to run, in essence, an activation crack. I'm not going, for obvious reasons, I'm not going to give you links to the files. Let's just say if you know how to use Google to search for stuff on the internet, you'll be able to find these downloads. I have them already extracted. GlobalTIS itself tends to come as an ISO with the activation coming as a zip file, just to get ease of use really. I've extracted the whole thing to the desktop here. If we go into GlobalTIS straight away, run setup. Yeah, so English will be fine, thank you. Next. I accept. Next. You can see I'm going to leave everything as the default installation. You can see it's already chosen program files x86. That's perfectly normal. I'm running a 64-bit copy of Windows 10 here, which I imagine if all of you, if you've got a even remotely recent laptop, you'll probably be running 64-bit version of Windows 10. I don't really see much point to trying to run this inside a VM or anything. It works perfectly fine, so I don't bother, I just install it. Leave that as standalone. Again, it can be run as a server. Not that it matters a great deal for most of you, I imagine, but it is a possibility. But I'm just going to stick with standalone just now. Yeah, localhost is fine. Leave the port numbers. Yeah, leave those port numbers as well. I can't imagine anyone wanting to change these. Again, similar fashion, we don't really need email alerts, so just leave all of this blank. I'd be surprised if any of you are using a proxy server to access the internet. No need for that. And we're ready to install. Okay, that's that done. Doesn't take too long, a few minutes, at least on a relatively fast machine. Done, and we are done. Okay, now with that done, let's close that a sec. Okay, this is where the interesting stuff happens, so I'm going to get the instructions up. Just this little readme here. Move that to the side. Don't need any of that. Okay, so we have installed it. The next thing to do is set the environment variables. For those of you that don't know, the environment variables specify where the computer looks when it's just given the name of an exe to run, rather than the full location. So in this instance, we're going to right click on the start menu, go to system. This is a little bit different. Reading through this, I think these instructions were probably written with 32-bit Windows 7 in mind, so there are some differences, so that's why I went on the start menu here and did it. We can now go to advanced settings. If your screen or this window is a little smaller, you won't see it. You can scroll down and go to advanced settings or maximize, and hopefully your screen's wide enough for it to show you on the side. So let's go to the advanced settings. Don't need that settings window anymore. Environment variables. Okay, this is what it's talking about when it says add this path. Now, in this instance, because I'm running it on 64-bit machine, that path is in fact wrong, so I'll need to correct that as well. I'm just going to copy it just now. Edit the path. See, there's already something in here. That's fine. We're going to add a new one. Paste in there. And I need to correct that because that is not the location. It is in fact x86. Close brackets there. Enter. Done. Okay, and okay, and okay. That's that done. Again, perhaps because it was Windows 7 or earlier, I don't see any reason to reboot after adding another path in that, so I'm going to ignore step 2. Next up, right, we need to go to Program Files, GlobalTIS, Tomcat, Web Apps, Root, and install the Java runtime that's in there. So, middle mouse button there to bring up a new file explorer. Let's bring it to the side. This PC, Program Files, x86, remember? GlobalTIS, Tomcat, Web Apps, Root, and there's the Java to install. Double click that. Yes. I accept. Okay, that's that installed. Next step. Run GlobalTIS. Cool. And this may take a little while to install. Part of the reason you can run it as a server is because it's actually running a sort of a website on your computer. That's why you access it through a browser. So at the moment, you probably find the web servers having to be kicked into life. Here we go. Edit my dealership data. My dealership ID is 1. Dealership name is me. I'm on Me Street. Me. I will set the location. English would be preferred. United Kingdom. Language, English. United Kingdom. Phone number 1, fax number 1, email me.com. I think that's it. I don't think I need an additional contact. Save. I need a contact name. Me. What language does me speak? Me speak English. Save. Dealership data stored. Good. Right, now this is a part that the instructions don't mention. Log out. The reason being, request ID isn't filled in. That's important later, so we need to log out of that and then close that window. Okay, well, right, so we've missed a step. Right, back in. Right, and now I should have the registration PDF. That's very important. Can't believe I forgot that. Okay, cool. And now log out. And log out. And close. Right, keep the registration document handy. Need that in a sec. Okay, next up. We need to copy the keygen.class and the keygen.bat. There they are. That's the two files right there. Copy those. Make sure you copy. Now that's important. Don't cut. Copy. I'll tell you why that's important in a sec. And then we need to copy them to, again, the destination is wrong, isn't it? Program files, GlobalTIS, Tomcat, Web Apps. We change after that. So back to Web Apps, TIS to Web, scroll down, webinf, lib, paste in here. Do this for all current items. Yes, just do it. Okay. Start, enter command prompt. Right, okay. Again, instructions say start run. If you click on start, you'll see no run. Now you can do this a couple of ways. You can, from the desktop, press the Windows key and R, and you'll get the run prompt. Or if you just happen to press start, you can just start typing CMD. There we go. There's the command prompt. Pull that down out of the way. Copy or paste this. Now you can, oops, you need the CD part as well to change the directory. Copy, right click to paste. However, again, because we're 64-bit here, we need to change that program files. Now, if you've got an older laptop that's still only 32-bit, you won't need to be changing the locations like I am here. But I imagine most of you are trying to run this on relatively modern systems, so you will need to do that. Right, there we go. That's run. Keygen.bat. Right, okay. So now we need that code from the registration document. And that's this code here with all the dashes and stuff. However, we need to remove those dashes. So I'm going to select the whole thing. Copy. I'm going to use the notepad window here just to work in. Paste it in. Now I'm going to sit here and remove all the dashes. Press delete twice here, bring it all up onto one line. Fantastic. Right, grab all of that. Copy. Keygen. I don't think you need the .bat. It's keygen space. Right click to paste into the command prompt. Enter. There we go. Fantastic. These are the two lines I need. So let's leave that open just now. That can actually be closed now. Let's get GlobalTIS open again. Hopefully this time we should see, there we go, the request ID has been filled in automatically. That's why we logged out earlier. I can now copy this information out. So grab the text, right click to copy it, and right click and paste. Same again, grab the text, right click, and right click and paste. Register the license key, may take a while. Oh, it's done. Log out, close. Back into GlobalTIS. Don't bother to check for those in the future. Yeah, delete that again. Before we go any further, you'll see this is version 146. This will provide security access up to sometime in 2010. Out there somewhere, there is a version 148, which will provide security access all the way up to 2011. Show again at next. No. If anyone knows where there's a copy of that, I would quite appreciate it, to be honest. I don't actually have a car new enough to need it at present, but it's always nice to have. You never know, one of these days I might get a really new 9.3. I highly doubt that, but you never know. So anyway, here it is. You now have GlobalTIS installed. The software download is used to download new images onto the Tech 2, in essence overwriting what's on the PCMCIA card already. The SPS system is used to update modules in the car, such as the ECU. Let's think, on the 9.5, I think the only modules you can actually update are the ECU, the aircon unit, and also the automatic transmission computer on the automatics. On the 9.3 though, at least the new 9.3, oh god, there's like 25, maybe 30 different modules that can be updated. Security access, that's what allows you, well, I should say allows the Tech 2 actually to change certain sort of high security settings. On the 9.5, it's pretty much that is used along with the SPS system, and also things like coding new keys to the car. On the new 9.3, there's a lot more that need security access. And to be perfectly honest, I don't even know largely what the rest of them do. The only things I ever use it for the most part is for security access and SPS. I'll show you now. Here I am in the new Edge. You don't have to be running Internet Explorer for this, but let's pick one. Let's go security. Start download. You get the download thing down here. Yes, it's fine. Keep it. And when it finally allows me, open. Always trust content from this publisher. Run. There you go. And I have security access running. From here, obviously, I don't have the Tech 2 here with me at the moment, but if it was plugged in, it should auto-detect the COM port. If not, you might have to tell it what COM port your Tech 2 is actually connected to. And then you hit next, and away you go, getting security access. One more thing I will cover, if I close this a sec. Yeah, don't save that, don't need that. Yeah. Once you've done all of this, feel free to delete the GlobalTIS folder itself to save you some space. You can see there it's saving about 2 gig. Don't delete the GlobalTIS activation instructions. Keep these handy. There's a good reason for that. Let's see. Part of the problem is if you are running it on a newer system such as Windows 10, the way Microsoft do updates now, every so often they do a major update, which is practically a reinstall of the operating system on top of your existing installation. There are good reasons to do it, and there are bad reasons too. However, one of the bad reasons is the way the GlobalTIS activation seems to work is they seem to take a sort of a machine ID. They look at your processor, possibly things like your motherboard serial number, things like that. If that ever changes, then the ID numbers it generated won't be valid anymore. I discovered this once when I upgraded the CPU in my laptop that I use, just to make it a bit quicker, and suddenly GlobalTIS didn't work. Another time, just to go back to the Windows 7 stuff, sorry, Windows 10 even, when you get the major Windows 10 updates, which is usually between April and summer, GlobalTIS will stop working, because as far as it's concerned, you've tried to copy it onto a different computer, because suddenly the OS image doesn't match the ID number it previously generated. I can simulate, no I can't simulate it entirely, but I can show you how to fix it. I can't remember the instructions exactly. If I open GlobalTIS again, you'll get a screen similar to this. This is just telling me that I didn't log out last time. That's perfectly fine. You'll get an error message similar to this, just point blank refusing to load. You don't get the option to re-enter any of your information again. You just, no, that's it. No access for you anymore. Now, you could uninstall it and reinstall it all again. That is an option. That will work. But if you need it quicker, I can show you a little trick. If we right-click on it and open file location, we get taken to where it's installed. If you sort by date, you will see 4 files. See these files here? Look at the timestamp on all of them. And look at those ones. That's the new information we entered after we installed it. Now, there's dealership data. There's request. Shall we have a look? I doubt Notepad will be too happy about opening them. Anything no, not even human readable. Fair enough, never mind. Yeah, so that's a request, a license, and I'm willing to bet hardware info database. I wonder if that'll open. Again, probably not human readable, but let's have a look. No, not even spotting anything in there. No. Anyway, these 4 files are what are used to generate the license key. Now, in this instance, again, we're going to work on the assumption that our GlobalTIS doesn't work, either due to a hardware upgrade or a new operating system install. We're going to leave dealership data where it is, delete those 3 files. Yes, delete. And the easiest way, I mean, you can restart things like the Tomcat database that runs all of this behind the show, so to speak. But the easiest way for you to deal with this at home would be to delete those files and then reboot the computer. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so here we are again. Machine's just rebooted. What I should have is an installed but unactivated GlobalTIS. So let's see what happens when that finally springs into life. There we have it. Unactivated. Right, so if we look in dealership data, the data should already be in there. Good, because we didn't delete the dealership file. That's fine, no need to deal with that. So from here on out, and this is again why I told you to keep these instructions around. Let's load up the README. Alright, let's re-register it. Get the PDF. Open. Good, good. Right, we can log out here, yes, and then close it. Let's keep that handy. Open the command prompt again. Then we will. Oh, I need to do that again, don't I? I mean, hopefully we won't have to do this too often. Keygen. There's my information. Close, close, don't save. Back into GlobalTIS. Request ID is filled in now. Subscriber ID. And the actual registration ID. License key, I should say. Paste. Go. Yes. Done. Log out. Close. Close. GlobalTIS. And huzzah! I am once again registered. So, if that ever does happen to you, either due to a hardware upgrade or an operating system upgrade, that's just a quick way you can get GlobalTIS running again without having to go through the entire process of uninstalling the old copy and installing the new copy and then still having to go through all the registration information. Although it's still kind of a long-winded way, this at least cuts out some of that. No, Java, I don't want an update. This at least cuts out some of that so that it's the quickest way, in essence, of getting GlobalTIS running again on a sort of a modern machine running Windows 10. So, there you have it. It's really... Once you realise, obviously, that the instructions were written with a much older operating system in mind, and you take those sort of facts on hand and deal with them appropriately, it's really not actually that difficult. The instructions are mostly correct for Windows 10, certainly Windows 10 64-bit. If you, for some reason, are only running Windows 10 32-bit, I think the only real difference would be how to get to the environment variables here on line 1. Beyond that, everything else would be the same because it would still be program files if you were installing it on a 32-bit system. You could, in theory, perhaps also cheat and purposefully install the 32-bit GlobalTIS into the 64-bit program files on a 64-bit machine, which would be just called program files, not program files x86. But it should work. It should. I've certainly installed 32-bit stuff there in the past. I don't know. It might just be easier just to leave it all with the defaults and then just deal with it afterwards. All you really need to do is remember to change that location there. That's it. So yeah, hopefully that's a help. It's not too difficult. Yeah, that's about it. So yeah, congratulations, you've now got GlobalTIS installed. As always, thanks for watching.